What's going on, family, and welcome again to my channel, to my page. And this is going to be something that's going to affect your sailors possibly now or in the nearby future. And with this, what I'm about to give, make sure that you read it thoroughly and of course talk to your chain of command also. I won't go through 100% of it because there's a lot to pack and a lot to throw at you, and I don't want to water hose you with information for about 15 to 20 minutes. So with that, always utilize your chain of command and always ask those questions. With that being said, let's do it. We're about to get into the NAVADMIN 280/21, which is the detailing marketplace assignment policy. And with this, it's almost like an SDIP, but it's not voluntary. It's going to be for certain rates, and it's going to be for those four. And it's going to begin the 1st of March of 2022. And they said this is the first phase, meaning it's going to affect other rates in the future also. And it talks about journeyman, which is E5, and then apprentices, which is E4. And in this, you're going to have different opportunities, and there's going to be some incentives also, such as money, advancement, and priority orders, ? But with that being said, the whole thing is going to be a 4+3 CTOR option, and it can be served at the same or different commands. So what it's saying is you serve 4 years at one command, and then you sign up for the extra 3 at another command, doing a total of 7 years at sea, which is somewhat similar to SDIP. At the same time, it's just going to pertain to these 4 ratings, which are ABF, ABH, GSM, and CS. And a big important note right here, which is on the first page that I'm going to read to you. Sailors on sea duty in these phase 1 ratings with PRD's projected rotation date on or before the 1st of March 2023 may opt out of the program for the upcoming assignment process and enter the legacy seashore flow marketplace. In order to opt out, the sailor's detailer must receive a 1306 from sailor via their command no later than the 1st of March 2022. So if you're within those 4 rates and you don't send one prior to, then you're locked in. Hey, sorry. And the driving factors for this is that it's on demand. I'm pretty sure you probably heard of some different commands that are missing a certain people, whether it's a chief, a senior chief, or a certain admin, or a certain critical job. And this is to help build and control that gap for that. And I hope I'm not going too fast because there's a lot of information, but at the same time, I honor your time, of course. But with that being said, the incentives, there are 4 incentives. You have the A2P, which is the advanced to position, which you're somewhat already familiar with. If not, what it is, the Navy announced this a couple years ago that if you want to go to a command and make rank, you can do that. So example, if I'm stationed here in California, and as a chief, if I want to make senior chief, they might have an A2P billet for a senior chief in, let's say, Washington. So as soon as I get to that command, I'll be a senior chief. If I finish my tour out there and I do a great job, don't get in trouble, I don't get fired, boom, I get to stay a senior chief, which is great. So you have the A2P for that. For E4, you have to do a minimum of 3 years at sea, and you have to be eligible for E5. And once you're done at that first command, you report to that next command as a E5. So you won't get E5 there. It'll be whenever you get to that other command. The second one, which is the big one, which is the class money, which is the detailing marketplace incentive pay, or MIP for short. So with that, over the course of 3 years, you'll get extra money, with the range going from the smallest of 200, the max to 800 a month. So example, if you're a second class and you're getting 500 a month and you finish out your tour for those 3 years, that's 18,000. And that's not counting your sea pay and how much you're getting for that. And with that, you can get up to about 39,000. With the MIP, with your base pay, with the sea pay, you can finish your tour those 3 years out with about 39,000. So we'll just round that up to 40K, which I think is pretty cool. And the rates do vary based off the location and the type of sea duty that you are on. So please take that into consideration. So that's 2. And you have command advanced to position, and somewhat similar to A2P. So example, if you're at E4 and an E5 is leaving, the command will advance you to that E5 position to fill in that gap. You do have to obla serve for that though, as you know, because it is 4+3 C option. So it's not as if, yeah, they're gonna hook you up and then that's it. And the curveball for that, if you're within those 4 rates, there's no map for you. The command A2P, advanced to position, is replacing the map for E4 to E5 within that rating. So it's not as if ABF3 can just be an ABF2 and they're good to go. It's like, nah, fam, you got to serve some more time here. And that begins the 1st of March, 2022. And then the last one, you have continuous C duty credit, or I'll just call it C credit for short. So for this one, you'll earn a C credit each month that you're on your job. And with that, the more credits you get, the higher priority you get in choosing your orders. As you know, it all depends on your job, on your NEC, needs of the Navy and all that, but the Navy said they're gonna take into consideration the best that they can do for you. So take that with a grain of salt, bae. So the third page, because I gotta get my notes here. So the policy statement for this. So if you're an E4 and you want to do this, your PRD is going to have to match up to your EAOS. So it's not as if, hey, I'm getting out in a year anyway. It's like, nah, fam, you got to do your time. You got to do your time. And if by chance you're on shore duty, so example, apprentice sailors assigned to shore duty for their first assignment will have their PRD set to a 24-month tour. That's how serious they are on getting them sailors back out to those ships. Just saying. And then for E5s, as mentioned, you got to knock out and do those extra years at sea. And if you're E5 eligible, aka E4, and you want to do this, then your PRD 12 months out, that's when you'll reach out to your detailer and work out the things that you need to work out. And as in going to your My Navy assignment and finding out what works best for you. I don't think I'm going too fast. And as I mentioned, the process is 7 years. So you're already gonna serve at your one command, finish that, and then go and do another 3 years, either at that same or a different command. And of course, there's gonna be certain exceptions, whether you're pregnant, limb due, mill to mill, co-location. So it's not as if it's going to affect everybody. Regardless of, I think in any branch, there's always going to be certain exceptions that comes to that. So you always have to take that into consideration. There are a lot of things that I wasn't able to add. I didn't want to water hose you. So print this out, talk to your chain of command, talk to your division about it, and see if that makes sense for you. I did SDIP because I didn't make first at my first command. And then they ended up mapping me to first. So I ended up going to my new command at sea as a first class, which was great. It was a good opportunity. But for some that want to do it and don't want to do it, E4, E5, that's one of those things to take into consideration. And also this is the first phase, so there'll be more rates to come. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think the Navy should have done this a long time ago? Or do you just feel as if, the Navy's just trying to keep people at sea because they're sending people to other commands that might not need it? There's a bunch of other reasons that people could go on and speak on this because the Navy's gonna need those folks out at sea anyway. So they're doing what they can to make sure that those ships aren't hurting when they're out on deployment. But lastly, my last words would just be, thank you for watching. And of course, like, share, subscribe, and just leave a comment in the description down below. It really helps with the algorithm of more people seeing this content. Check out the ship kit that I have down there for the things that I highly recommend that you have on the ship, and most of those things that I used as well. But with that being said, thank you for your time, and talk to your chain of command about this. Talk to them. But lastly, thank you for your time. Have a great day.